239 people simply vanished from the sky, a modern Boeing 777 disappearing mid-flight. No distress call, no immediate wreckage, just an empty patch of ocean where a fully laden commercial jet should have been. What truly happened aboard Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 remains the most unsettling aviation enigma of our time. In this deep analysis, we will meticulously reconstruct the documented final moments of MH370, examining the official timeline, the inexplicable satellite pings, and the chilling absence of definitive answers that continue to haunt this case. You're about to confront a truth that challenges our fundamental assumptions about control, security, and the impenetrable mysteries of our modern world. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a Boeing 777, departed Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:42 a.m. local time. Its destination was Beijing Capital International Airport, a routine 6-hour journey across the South China Sea. On board were 227 passengers from 14 different nations, alongside 2 highly experienced pilots and 12 cabin crew members. The flight's captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, a 53-year-old Malaysian, was a veteran with over 18,000 hours of flying experience. His first officer, 37-year-old Fariq Abdul Hamid, was an accomplished pilot with almost 2,700 hours, making his first flight as first officer on the 777. Their aircraft, registration number 9MMRO, was a meticulously maintained airframe, delivered new to Malaysia Airlines in 2002, having accumulated over 20,000 hours of flight time across more than 3,000 flights. Everything about this flight, from the aircraft to the crew, was standard, meticulously checked, and prepared for another uneventful journey. The initial leg of the flight proceeded without incident. MH370 cruised at a normal altitude of 35,000 feet. At 1:38 a.m., just 16 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft made its final routine communication with Malaysian Air Traffic Control. The first officer stated, "Good night, Malaysian 370. This was a standard handover to Vietnamese air traffic control as the plane approached the boundary between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace, about 120 nautical miles east of the Malaysian coast. But MH370 never checked in with Ho Chi Minh Air Traffic Control. Within minutes, the aircraft's transponder, the device that communicates its identity and altitude to air traffic controllers, ceased transmitting. It was 1:40 a.m. The plane had simply vanished from civilian radar screens. For a brief period, confusion reigned, with both Malaysian and Vietnamese air traffic controllers attempting to re-establish contact. There was no mayday, no distress signal, no indication of any trouble whatsoever. Just sudden, profound silence. How could a state-of-the-art aircraft, flying in clear night skies, simply disappear without a word? But the story doesn't end with a blank radar screen. This is where the truly unsettling evidence begins to emerge, transforming a typical disappearance into something far more deliberate and profoundly unsettling. Despite the transponder going dark, Malaysian military radar continued to track an unidentified aircraft, later confirmed to be MH370, executing a series of unexpected maneuvers. Instead of continuing north towards Beijing, the aircraft made a sharp, deliberate turn to the west, then southwest, flying back across the Malaysian peninsula, directly over Pulau Perak, a small island in the Strait of Malacca. Then it turned again, this time to the northwest, heading out into the vast, unforgiving expanse of the southern Indian Ocean. This was no random drift. This was a purposeful change in direction, a pilot-initiated diversion that defied its scheduled route entirely. Consider this. The aircraft's communication systems, including the Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System, or ACARS, which transmits engine performance and other data, also ceased transmitting around the same time as the transponder. To disable both the transponder and ACARS simultaneously requires a specific sequence of manual inputs within the cockpit. This was not a system malfunction. This was an intentional shutdown. Think about the implications of that. Someone in that cockpit chose to silence the aircraft. This case is real. It is officially documented, and the chilling implications of these deliberate actions remain at the heart of its unsolved status. The most baffling and crucial piece of evidence comes from an unexpected source: satellite pings. After disappearing from radar, MH370 continued to send automated handshake signals to a British Inmarsat satellite orbiting some 22,000 miles above the Indian Ocean. These were not data transmissions, they were simple electronic acknowledgements, like a phone checking in with a cell tower, confirming that the satellite communication system on the plane was still powered on and operating. 7 of these pings were recorded after the aircraft vanished from radar, occurring at precise intervals until 8:19 a.m., more than 7 hours after the last communication with air traffic control. The final, partial ping at 8:19 a.m. indicated the aircraft was running low on fuel and power, suggesting it continued flying until it ran out. Analysis of the timing and angles of these pings, combined with an understanding of satellite physics, allowed investigators to create an arc, known as the 7th Arc, across the southern Indian Ocean. This arc represented the only possible locations where the aircraft could have been at the time of that final ping. For years, massive multinational search efforts, costing hundreds of millions of dollars, meticulously combed over 700,000 square kilometers of the ocean floor along this arc, deploying state-of-the-art sonar and underwater drones. Yet, despite these unprecedented efforts, the main wreckage of MH370 was never found. Only a few pieces of debris, most notably a 2-meter-long flaperon, a wing part, washed ashore on Réunion Island in July 2015, over a year later and thousands of kilometers away from the primary search area. This discovery, while confirming the aircraft's fate as having crashed, offered no clues as to why or how it ended up there. How could an object the size of a Boeing 777, designed with multiple redundant systems, disappear so utterly without leaving a trace that definitively points to its location? The sheer impossibility of this vanishing act has given rise to a multitude of theories, each attempting to fill the void left by concrete evidence. One prominent theory, favored by many investigators, posits that Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah deliberately diverted the aircraft. Proponents of this theory point to the manual disabling of communication systems, the precise, almost surgical turns, and the long, silent flight path into the most remote part of the ocean. Some suggest a scenario of pilot suicide, a dark echo of other aviation tragedies where a pilot, perhaps suffering from mental health issues, intentionally steered the aircraft to its demise. However, no credible motive or evidence of Captain Shah's state of mind has ever emerged to definitively support this, leaving it as speculation. His flight simulator data was scrutinized, yielding no conclusive evidence of practiced routes consistent with MH370's final path. This theory, while addressing the how, leaves the why entirely unanswered and lacks direct proof of malicious intent. Another theory centers around a catastrophic mechanical failure or an onboard fire that incapacitated the crew and rendered the aircraft uncontrollable. Imagine a sudden, overwhelming blaze in the cockpit, forcing the pilots to divert and attempt an emergency landing, only for the fire to spread and eventually cause the aircraft to fly on as a ghost flight until fuel exhaustion. This would explain the loss of communication and the subsequent journey as the incapacitated plane continued on autopilot or a pre-programmed course. However, the precise and deliberate turns recorded by military radar are difficult to reconcile with a completely incapacitated crew. Furthermore, Modern aircraft are designed with extensive fire suppression systems and multiple redundancies for critical flight controls, making such a total, immediate loss of control extremely rare without some form of distress signal. No physical evidence of a catastrophic fire has ever been found in the recovered debris. A less commonly accepted theory suggests a hijacking or an act of terrorism, where an individual or group took control of the aircraft. This could explain the deliberate rerouting and the disabling of communications. But here too, the evidence falls short. No organization ever claimed responsibility for the disappearance. Security footage of passengers and baggage checks revealed nothing suspicious, and the lengthy flight into the remote ocean, with no demands made, makes a conventional hijacking scenario highly implausible. Typically, hijackers have a clear objective: political statement, ransom, or using the aircraft as a weapon. None of these elements materialized. Each explanation struggles to account for all the facts, leaving crucial inconsistencies and unanswered questions. The deliberate actions in the cockpit, the lack of distress, the ghost flight, and the profound absence of wreckage all conspire to keep the true nature of MH370's end shrouded in an impenetrable veil of uncertainty. No theory fully satisfies the chilling array of anomalies presented by this case. This isn't just a story of a missing airplane. It's a stark reminder of the limits of our knowledge, even in an era of unprecedented technological advancement. We live in a world mapped by satellites, crisscrossed by digital networks, where every commercial flight is tracked with meticulous precision. Yet, MH370 broke every rule, defied every expectation, proving that even our most sophisticated systems can be circumvented, leaving 239 lives and a massive aircraft to simply evaporate. It forces us to confront the unsettling reality that there are still forces, human or otherwise, capable of orchestrating a disappearance so perfectly that even after years of relentless investigation, the truth remains tantalizingly out of reach. It changes how you perceive the very fabric of our modern, interconnected world, revealing a profound vulnerability we rarely consider. The digital ghost of MH370 continues to fly through the collective consciousness, a silent testament to the enduring power of the unexplained. The journey into the truly baffling continues. Join us as we next explore another documented enigma that defies all current scientific understanding.